And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. Thursday, September 25th, 2025. Hope you're having a good day. It's Thursday, right? Okay, got it right. All right. This is serious talk on everything that affects you. And out of the box, we're going to talk about what they're going to tell you and con you into believing something that's going to affect you. We'll do markets, the economy, your job, your industry, the Morlocks in D.C., scams, shams, corruption, you name it, we cover it with no agenda, ulterior motive, and bias. That's why both sides can't stand me. If I rip the left, the right gets pissed off. If I rip the right, the left gets pissed off. But such is life. They've all let us down. Simple as that. 37 trillion of debt will tell you that. But there's something else about to happen. We'll get into it in a minute. If you don't get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. So again, if we're not in your city, that's the place to get it. You can also go to the YouTube channel of BizTV, other podcast apps. It's out there everywhere. And of course, if you'd like to email us, just be nice. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let you know the latest con job, the latest scam perpetrated by both sides of the aisle in Washington, D.C. Now, I want you to remember something very important. Listen carefully. On purpose, they have spent $37 trillion more than they were supposed to. Remember, maybe you don't remember this, but we do. They used to fight over this, especially the Republicans. They used to fight over debt and deficits. Have you ever heard the two words debt ceiling? What does a ceiling denote? That's the word, right? What does it mean, a ceiling? Well, as I look up above me, I have a ceiling above me here in my office, and I cannot break through that ceiling unless I was Superman or I had some sort of big drill, right? A debt ceiling should mean that you cannot raise debt higher than that ceiling. And they used to fight over it, and then they stopped. And do you know why? Because they don't give a crap about us, the taxpayer. And what they did was, we're at 5 trillion, let's try 6. We're at 6 trillion, do 7. It's 7 trillion, let's do 8. 10, that's a round number. We're at 10, go 12. We have some sort of emergency, let's go 13. And that's how you get the 37 trillion. And who I blame the most is the Republicans, because they used to really fight about it. Many moons ago, they were pissed off. They used to fight the debt ceiling. It mattered. And then all of a sudden, it didn't. It didn't matter to Bush, didn't matter to Trump, and didn't matter to Trump again as president now. They don't care. So guess what's supposed to happen on Monday? Another con job, a government shutdown. You see, the Democrats, the Marxist Party, is going to tell us the government's shutting down. We're letting you know, not true. It's a lie. They're very good at lying to you. Essential services never shut down. Your Social Security payments will always go to you. They're going to try and tell you all that's going to happen. They're liars. How do you know they're liars? They open their mouths. We want you to remember that. Yeah, there'll be some things. They call it non-essentials. But everything of import will keep going because it never stops. So I just want to let you know, while the media lies to you today, tomorrow, and the weekend, while the Dems lie to you today, tomorrow, and the weekend, there's never been a government shutdown. They say it's been shut down, but even when we had what was it, under Trump, it had a pretty long one. Weren't we still clicking? Weren't the lights still on in the airports? And the stoplights working? And the police and the firemen were still out there? The teachers were still teaching? We just want you to remember, there's going to be another con in the next few days. The media will, of course, as usual, be the corrupt pieces of sleaze that they are, and tell you the end of the world is at hand. Just letting you know. Just had to get that out, because I know how things work. And unfortunately, this administration doesn't care either. What a shame. I would have really given the president big time compliments if they just did a little bit. If they would have just cut a little bit. Doge never went anywhere. If they would have taken that 1.8 trillion of that worst president ever, Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, and just cut 10%, I'd be thrilled. Instead, this president is hiking taxes on the country via tariffs. Instead, just letting you know, with no agenda, ulterior motive, or bias. Remember, we don't care about who, we care about what. And 1.2 trillion of our tax dollars is down the drain every year. That's your hard-earning tax dollars that's supposed to go to do good things from the government. It's going towards interest. I want you to remember that when you kiss the butt of the party you like or the politician you like. I want you to remember that. And it's coming from both, and there's no excuses on Trump anymore because he's now in his 5th year of presidency. I wish I could sit down with him. Won't ever happen. Yeah, you never know. I was actually invited to Mar-a-Lago for the first time. I'm probably going to have a little dinner there in the next couple of months. Seriously. Not by Trump, of course. But I do love Trump's golf courses, without a doubt. Anyway, just had to start with that because that's going to be the story this weekend. That's going to be the big story. The government's going to shut down, and they'll blame the Republicans. It's always the Republicans. You know that, right? You know, the violent Republicans, even though they're not the violent ones, it's the other side. You know, the racist Republicans, but we find out it's the other side. Oh, Kamala Harris doesn't like gays. I'm not going to select somebody for vice president because he's gay. So Kamala Harris is a homophobe. Interesting. I don't hear the media yelling that Kamala Harris is a homophobe. Interesting. Don't you love how they work? All right, so just wanted to start with that. Why? Because it's right in front of me. Sometimes I get pushed little things, and I'm reading it right here. And the title of this, who will be the big loser of the looming government shutdown? They're already putting out articles about which party's going to be the loser. Don't you love them? Okay, we segue. Tonight is a football game. I have I lost James Conner in my fantasy football league, who, by the way, I'm leading in my league big time. But I smartly took the backup, Benson, so he'll be starting tonight. So I want you all to root for this guy, Benson, to get, we'll just take 100 yards and a touchdown. If he gets more than that, I'll be happy. And catches. Give me more than 5 catches, I'd be a happy guy. Notice how we go from government shutdowns to a football game tonight. Speaking of that, I bought my 2 sons tickets to the practice round of the Ryder Cup this week. One of the greatest events I ever been to was the Ryder Cup in Minnesota at Hazeltine a bunch of years ago. I don't remember what year. Maybe it was 16 or 17. One of the greatest events I've ever been to. The crowds were insane. I expect the crowds to be nuts tomorrow. I was thinking about flying up and going on Saturday, but I got too many fish to fry, so I am hanging down here in not so warm Florida. It's cooled off a bit, which we're very happy about. All right, the market. So the good news, way off the lows. The bad news, it was on the wicked side for some names, not all. And what we're going to do, as always, we're going to pick it apart for you. That'll be up next on this, the one and only Investor's Edge. Okay. How about that for a first segment? By the way, as I told you, I've got a lot of emails on this. I am reading books by David Goggins, Navy SEAL guy and stuff. Even at my age, I am into inspiration and inspiring. And you know what I read the other day? That Warren Buffett made not like 95% of his money after the age of 65. Did you know that? I didn't. I had no idea. You know what that meant to me? I turned 65 October 1st. And by the way, I look 30. I have full head of hair, starting to gray. But this morning did 15 sets of chest and buys. I'll double up a little bit tonight. But I still need inspiration. Go get these books by David Goggins. I mean, and you know what I do with them? Hope you don't mind me telling you these things. I take out my highlighter and I just write, I highlight. You ever read these inspiring books and one sentence gets you all hyped up? One paragraph makes you feel? That's what this guy does. This is what this guy does. And I've been trying to say to myself, oh man, I'm 65. What do I want to do? I mean, should I retire and go on a 100-day cruise? By the way, they have these 100-day cruises, which are pretty damn good. What should I do? And then I read about Warren Buffett. And by the way, I know we're talking money, but that's not everything. But he built even at the age of 65. And then you know what I read the other day? A guy at 93. Not kidding. He now has like the world record of rowing, you know, one of those rowing machines, and he started at the age of 85. And he has the air oxygen intake of like a 40-year-old. And I'm reading all these things, I'm thinking to myself, you know, I'm going to treat myself like I'm 23. Just letting you know. Anyway, David Goggins' books, I don't even know which one came first, but I think Can't Hurt Me came first, and then something called Never Finished. I have yet to read Can't Hurt Me. I'm on Never Finished, and man, the first few chapters, dang. Maybe I'm not going to retire so quickly. All right. Best way I can put it, let's see, was it last Tuesday? Last Tuesday, the NASDAQ hit 22,058 and closed at 22,261. It rallied up 203 points into the close to only be down that day, 22,333, down 70. Today, the NASDAQ hit 22,185 and closed at 22,384, was down 313 and finished only down 113. We're just letting you know. If we can, I can go back. How about this one? September 2nd. The NASDAQ closed at 21,455 the day before, hit a low of 21,033, down 422 points, but finished at 21,279, so it rallied up 246 points. Still a down day, but you had, when you draw on these charts, you draw these vertical lines. But then if you finish at the upper end, you draw a horizontal at the upper end. Today was another one of these upper end NASDAQ days. By the way, you had another one of those on August 20th. You had a midpoint on September 5th. So if we continue to have these down 300 NASDAQ and finish only down 100, I mean, down 100 is not great, but if the next 3 days the NASDAQ's up 200, it erases everything. So we're just letting you know, the NASDAQ was down 113, but dang, it could have been a lot worse. You had NVIDIA down 3, then it was up 3. Finished up less than 1, but still upper chamber, they call it. And as I go through screens today of individual names, just finding a lot of the little vertical line, that's price, and then the little horizontal line, which is the closing price, in the upper end of the ranges. That's not bad news. Does not mean a ton to the next day, but it means something. And to keep the uptrend intact, like to see more of that. Intel. Well, we told you yesterday that one of the congressmen bought Intel before everything. We're not accusing him of anything, of course. Intel was up another 9% today. You had SoftBank take a position, NVIDIA take a position, the government take a position in this company that has absolutely sucked versus other semiconductor stocks. In fact, before all this noise, Intel hit a high of $76 in 2000 and was a low of 18 as of July. It's now 34. Welcome to the government rules. And I don't know what comes of it. All I can tell you is I don't want the government in our private companies. And any conservative worth their salt should be agreeing with me. And if Joe Biden was doing it, conservatives be crapping in their pants. Well, it should not matter who's doing it. You should be matter that it's being done. We'll see how it plays out. Anyway, just letting you know, Intel stock is very strong. Dow was down 173 today. I will tell you that the Dow at the lows today, not bad, 45,785, 16. It was down 330. Strong in the Dow today was IBM up 14. You know what they announced? Something about quantum. Remember what we told you? Companies are going to be just announcing AI and quantum and AI. And we're not, ripping on IBM for announcing this. We're just letting you know. And we have to start gauging how important the announcements are, because sometimes the announcements are not that meaningful. And they're being announced to goose the stocks. So I have to look over tonight what IBM said. And the most important part of the equation, will it add to earnings? Or is it just another announcement? I doubt we'll know in a day. Up next, what else in the markets? What else? That's up next on this, the one only Investor's Edge. Okay. Let's just go tit for tat on what's happened in the markets. We remain avoids on payroll companies, ADP and paychecks, bearish market. A lot of the auto dealers and CarMax today blew up to new yearly lows on their numbers. The exchanges like ICE and the CBOE and the CME and NASDAQ, they trade. Avoids. Most of the food and beveraging, and probably add the tobacco in there also. That's the consumer staples. Household products also, like the Procter & Gamble's. Bearish markets. Bearish trends. Downtrends. Whatever you want to call it. And boy, oh boy, the alcohol stocks absolutely bludgeoned. And this is a good news, bad news. Bad news if you own the stocks. Good news that people are drinking less alcohol. As we have told you here, if I have 5 drinks a year, it's a big year. Seriously. I think I'm at 3 this year. Let me think. I think I'm probably around 3 this year. Let's see. I had that great martini at Nobu. Yeah, I think about 3. I just think it's overrated. And by the way, if you're in New York City, they charge you like $22 for a martini that costs them 8 cents. There's one place that charges $30. Get out of here. Anyway, good to see and great to see that young adults are not into it. Overrated. Just letting you know. What else remain avoids? The restaurants. The restaurant stocks are in a bearish phase, bear market, downtrend, whatever you want to call them. We've recently said to you that, I guess the word is downgraded, and said we'd be worried about the travel stocks. Airlines, cruise lines, hotels. And guess what? They've been coming in. Nothing as far as disasters, but a lot of tops in place. And we'll see if it worsens. Whenever something tops and we call a top, we never know if it's going to turn into something no biggie, somewhat biggie, or brutal destruction. We just know when something's basically topped or avoids because they're trading below the 50-day moving average and they keep riding it down. And in the Chipotle in the restaurants, 67 to 39. Starbucks, 117 to 83. By the way, Starbucks, we told you, announced they're going to close a bunch of stores. A bunch of, I guess, restaurants. And that's a smart move. Do you know why? They have too many. Do you know in New York City you can just walk one block and there's another Starbucks and then another block and another Starbucks? You know what I do like about Starbucks right now? They've been fixing the interiors. You know what I don't like? The CEO says price doesn't matter. We're going to keep charging. Okay, see how that goes in a price-conscious environment. Big biotech. I just think they're avoids. The garbage collectors, the waste management, avoids. A lot of the insurance stocks, plain old avoids. A decent amount of economically sensitive stocks. W.W. Granger. Tools and lighting and plumbing. Bear market. But not all, because United Rentals has been strong. Caterpillar's been strong. Anything below the 50. How about this? Medical products and research companies. Bearish. Intuitive Surgical, past leader, just absolutely destroyed. A lot of the healthcare. A lot of it. And managed care, United Health has been better, but the others, stinking up the joint. So there's plenty of areas of avoids. Rails and truckers, most of them avoids, though there's a merger with Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern. But the banks remain fine. The semiconductors remain fine. Growth leaders, while a bunch of them have pulled back, some harshly in the past 2 or 3 days, that's only because they got extended. If I had to complain, we've been telling you about the no sales stuff. They've come in, but only because they went vertical also. We would avoid the crypto. in spite of what they tell you that Bitcoin's going to 13 million. The only time we would tell you to look at crypto, it would have to get back above the all-important 50-day moving average. And right now, both Bitcoin is trading below, and I will tell you, 61.31. If IBIT breaks below 61.31, it would worsen things. 84.78 on the is GBTC, which is another Bitcoin ETF, and then Ethereum. If I had a dime for every person in the last 4 weeks that was screaming skyrocket time, well, it's down 20% from the recent high and broke the 50-day today. Gap down on Monday. We would just avoid. When would we come off avoids? They'd have to get back above the 50-day. That does not mean that they start a new up leg. They just can't be in a down leg if they're above it. So we're just letting you know there are voids right now. We're not telling you to sell. We're just letting you know if you're looking at them, there's no reason to touch right now. And then there's the micro strategy, which we have warned you about. Down another $23 today, breaking support levels. Much weaker than the actual Bitcoin now. And again, our worries were onefold. You're borrowing money and issuing stock to just buy more and more Bitcoin. That in the last bear market dropped 75%. Really? That has no sales or earnings, products or services? Really? Okay, we'll see how it plays out. Well, bearish phase for MicroStrategy right now. If that changes, we will let you know. But, ew. So a bunch of avoids. And if anything gets better, we'll tell you. If anything worsens, we'll tell you. But there's still areas that are acting just fine. Or we wouldn't just be off the highs. Russell 2000 just broke out recently, but is a little bit below the highs again. We took a small position, and that's why it's coming down. Remember, we got stopped out twice last year. When it tried to break out twice? Well, we just bought a little bit, and I know we're down 1%. Not the end of the world yet. And not a big piece for an ETF. And that's a little bit of this, that, and the other thing in the markets. Oh, we forgot one. Apple. Was up $4 today in a crappy NASDAQ. Had 2 very strong days, 2 small pullbacks, and then boom today. Looks like it may get those old highs. It's only $4 away from the old highs. We just bought Apple recently and we sold. We made 20 cents. We will get back in if need be. Talk of better sales. But forget that. Action. Quite compelling today. We were hoping they were going to pull it back further. They didn't. On the other end, strong Oracle down another 17. Somebody put a sell rating on it. Have you ever seen a sell rating? Not so sure I've seen any analyst sell ratings. Every now and then. That broke below the big $300 level. Not thrilling. Not great. Little up, little down. Up next. What else we got? We'll figure it out. On Investor's Edge. Da-da-da. Well, as you know, and maybe we'll pat ourselves on the back a little bit, they are reporting today what we've been telling you for 3 months. What have we been telling you for 3 months, especially about Florida, because we live here? That the housing markets continues to soften and that fantasy prices are coming down, sometimes very, very big. I just saw a house that went up for $175 and within 2 weeks was 155. And it still ain't going to sell. There are houses going up 100% higher than where they were 3 years ago. And that ain't going to work. And I'm watching, we go on Zillow and Realtor.com, and we've been telling you for many times, and not just Florida, but other areas, that days to sell is expanding big time, prices coming down, and a lot of pending sales going not pending and not sold. We've been telling you this for a while now. Let me read for you. All 4 of Florida's major metro areas have shifted into a buyer's market territory. Gee, thanks. We had no idea. The COVID-19 pandemic sent the housing market into a frenzy, and no state was affected more than Florida. The housing boom saw rapid price increases, mass migration to the state, which, by the way, continues today. High demand and low inventory. People from across the U.S. poured into the state to enjoy the sunshine, space, low taxes, suburban lifestyle, and the fact that Gary Kaltbaum lives there. That's not in there, by the way. Now, just 5 years later, the market has fully shifted thanks to overdevelopment, rising insurance and homeowners association fees, and economic uncertainty under President Trump. That's not the reason. Homes are no longer selling in the state. Miami, Orlando, Jacksonville, and Tampa, those the big 4, are all officially buyers' markets. A buyer's market occurs when there are more homes for sale than buyers. This gives buyers leverage. They can negotiate lower prices, ask for concessions, and take their time finding the right property. By contrast, a seller's market has more buyers than available homes, meaning whatever. It's actually worse than they're saying. Just letting you know. We have stated to you we do not think we're in an 2008 type scenario. We do not think that. But we think Fantasyland is going to continue to unfantasize. And people are recognizing, and let me explain how things work. It's very simple. The more supply, the tougher to sell. The more supply, and the realtors for these sellers see it. The realtor has to go to the seller and say, hey, there's now 9 houses in the neighborhood up for sale. And you're all pretty much at the same price. And by the way, 4 of those houses are nicer than yours. You're going to need to lower prices to move it or take it off the market. Oh, I'm going to lower the price. Well, those other 8 houses all of a sudden see there's a lower price now, and it's going to be tougher for them to sell in that same neighborhood. So what do? They start thinking about lowering their prices to meet that next one. The first one, excuse me. And that's how the process goes. Simple as that. And the realtor's job at that point in time is to recognize it and let the sellers know what's going on. And as I said to you, right here near I live, that somebody put up something for 1.75 that I believe sold 4 years ago for like 1.2. After 2 weeks, all of a sudden, it's 1.55. Why would they do that? Because they put it up for sale. Nobody sold. On the same street was a house in better condition up for 1.45. That's how it rolls. So just letting you know, that's the scenario going on right now. It's not just Florida. You can go read about Vegas, areas in Texas. I'm here in Arizona, all the peeps there in beautiful Phoenix, Scottsdale, and those areas. And it's just we're coming down from Fantasyland. To what point, we don't know. We'll give you an idea as we move forward. But right now, there is a process going on. Now, let me give you, though, I can tell you, great houses that stand out are selling. but most houses are in the same line as others. I can tell you in an area, I saw a house that I went up for 3.2. That I said, no way it's going to go for 3.2. It's an old friends of mine house. But the house is gorgeous. A fantastic pool area. You would think you're in Hawaii at one of their pool areas. It's gorgeous. Sold within a week because it was that damn good. So it really depends on, does it really stand out? And I'm using a $3 million house. You could have a $700,000 house, a $500,000 that really stands out too. How you took care of it? Is it really nice? Good landscaping, good paint, the insides, and you get my point. Look at Gary the realtor here helping you out with the real estate, huh? Anyway, as you can tell, we study a lot of this stuff for you as well as for us. So that's the Florida thing right now. Let's see. Texas, by comparison, Texas, yeah, same thing. Same thing. In February 23, Florida recorded the steepest inventory growth in the country, 143%. Texas, 109. Inventory. That'll do the trick. All right. Tomorrow's Friday. Hopefully a better market day. We don't like down days. You'll have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. It's simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. And don't forget, if not in your city, GaryK.com. Peace out all. Good night.